Blind boys don't lie. Immortal fear, that voice so clear through broken walls. That scream I hear. Cry, little sister. Like a drum deep in your veins. I'll live 9 lives, little sister. Come to your brother. I'm Jamie's sister. I can't forget why you were mine. I need you now. Cry, little sister. Come to your brother.
Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun. So what are we working on today? Well, today we're going to be working on Sanguine Nights and Terrible Curses. However, before we begin, I have to go over a few things. First things first, I did the things. As you can tell, I did quite a few things. Most notably, if we look here, I changed the math behind behind the techniques to die values. I thought that might be a better idea, because what was occurring during my little test run is that the numbers were not increasing very high, and it was going very slow. And with the handlers, it was working pretty well, but I want to increase things to have like a pretty good beat to it. So, however, what I ended up doing was changing things to dice values. I'm trying to get my out of my do a few more d6s. I have like this entire dice bag right by my side. I should have got out dice before, but I didn't think about this because I'm me. But what was occurring was that the numbers were not increasing very high. And it would be like 1 damage, 2 damage, 3 damage. And it was only like the really big hits that were doing any kind of damage. So it was like, okay, maybe I should change this a little bit. Sneeze there. One thing about this, what I chose to do was increase the damage by a die value. So most of them actually end up doing about D6 to D3. Now D3 doesn't seem like a lot, but when you have a health pool of roughly about 10 to 25, it adds up, and you might be rolling 2d6, where it's like I rolled 5 damage. That's quite a bit, especially how blood flow and the frenzy system works. I'm hoping that this actually promotes a little bit more thinking and fights go along a little bit faster, have a nice and better beat to them. The big ones are things like grappling ended up changing a little bit, in which it's like you are going to take a shit ton of damage, or you're going to lose something, lose a technique. Where was the one that I changed quite a bit? Oh yeah, catch breath I put here, which is, I did add conditions. I made a kind of a catch to do that. The idea here is ready the minds, ready themselves, they remove 1 condition. And that also brings us to focus breathing. I changed that out from the instinct technique to they remove up to 3 conditions, which is actually very big, and instinct is very good, but instinct is also very easy to be countered. And if you do counter, instinct, you're going to be able to punish them pretty badly for it. That's one of the big things. How this works, effectively, is vampires are encouraged to dump it either into their frenzy, which raises their frenzy, or their blood flow, which is going to lower their blood flow. Blood flow ever hits 0, you're technically out of the fight. You are out of the fight until you can recover, or until you kind of go until you get back up. However, you can also increase your frenzy by an amount, which increasing frenzy is kind of your ablative armor, you could say. You always want to increase frenzy, but there are some ways to actually do direct damage to your blood flow and do other things to it. However, frenzy increasing isn't always a good thing, because if your frenzy increases too high, you're going to be able to get that combat bonus, making you just better at combat, but you're also going to end up taking some penalties, and at the very end, you might actually be completely lost, which not very good. So our basic conditions are things like blinded, crippled, disoriented, hamstring, liver strike, muddled, pressure point, and weakened. Somebody pinged me. People want me to wear programming socks. Not again. Not again. I don't want to be programming socks. But yeah. Most of these, actually what they do is, depending on whatever approach you take, you're going to take woe, which woe is really bad, by the way, in this, because you're only going to be rolling, say, for example, let's say I have a 5 in something, you're going to roll your dice. If you take woe, I would have only rolled a 6 instead of rolling a 9, which is pretty fucking bad, by the way, because that means even if someone has like 3 dice to your 5, if you have woe and they don't, they've already beat you because they rolled a 6 and a 5. They've immediately crushed your fucking face with no recourse. You're going to be consistently losing techniques, and they're going to consistently keep gaining them, and they're going to keep putting more and more on you. The big thing is the only odd ones are out there is liver strike, which you cannot increase frenzy when taking damage. This is really important for vampires because it's the idea of like, I'm going to put a condition on you saying after this point, you can't actually get rid of your frenzy. You can't really get rid of any damage I deal to you except through blood flow. Which is like, fuck. Like, that's a lot, you know, it's like, okay, I have to now get rid of it somehow. I gotta burn a technique to catch my breath. I have to use instinct and get rid of it. Which isn't really good. If you're dealing with someone who is like really instinctual and you know they're very instinctual, you may be able to be like, okay, hey, I want to use Liver Strike on you. Because I've used Liver Strike on you, you now are at a severe disadvantage. You're not having fun. And I know what you have to go for next. Especially if you go Liver Strike into something like, where was it? Liver Strike into Muddled, which is like, you're just gonna, you might lose a shit ton if you try to get rid of any of your conditions. Pressure point's gonna apply to vampire powers. That's what we're gonna work on today, actually. I'm gonna draft up about a dozen vampire powers and kind of like how they work, and hopefully that kind of gives vampires a little bit more to work with. Those are the only two odd ones out, and then we have crippled, which you can be removed from the conflict, which is to say, like, you're out of the fight. This is another lose condition. You have lost the fight. You are removed from the conflict. You've lost. However, you have to have 5 conditions already applied to do this. This is kind of a ticking clock for people who aren't paying attention, which is like, oh, if I don't clear some of these conditions, I'm going to be out of the fight because I've been blinded, I've been disoriented, I've been hamstrung, I have a liver strike, and I've been muddled. And suddenly I'm, you know, they can cripple me next round. They can do in a single action to just take me out of the fight if I haven't cleared any of these things. And that's why it's always like, you gotta go fast. Which, even if you're like, okay, I'm gonna do it, I only have 4. But if they decided to inflict another condition on you, being like, okay, here's another condition, you're still in the same place. It's kind of a, I'm putting pressure on you. That isn't necessarily just your health is 0, your health is positive. Hopefully that works. I'm hoping. It should, in theory. Game developer socks. Game developer socks are just regular socks with a hole in them. I also added in the location features. Location features, there's only 4 types of location features. Don't worry about that too much. I'm not going to worry about it too much if you don't. How these work are, every single fight you're going to go in, you're going to have one of these 4. There might be different charges for them. Which, if you throw somebody or you willingly move into them, you'll be able to get some of the benefits of it. For example, let's say we're fighting in kind of a, let's say like a park or something. There might be the tied up location feature, which is like a little stream or something. There's like a bridge that we can use once as cover. If I willingly move to cover, cool, I'm in cover. Next time we reveal approaches, you have to reveal yours first, and then you reveal yours first, and then I choose mine. Which is like, okay, fuck, I'm at a disadvantage now. However, if I throw you into a place that's tied up, you're pretty much the number of techniques you can use are actually down by 1 to a minimum of 1. Which means even if you do well, even if you do perfectly, you're only going to have 2, or you might even just have 1, which may put me at an advantage even if you counter me. That's kind of how this works. It's not exactly the most robust system, but this is literally not supposed to be the most robust system. Then we have the climax phase. Climax phase is exactly what it sounds like. Highest point of tension in the scenario. Because of the nature of this game, there are technically 3 varieties of climax phase, which is a kind of a conflict climax, which is nobody can retreat, only surrender, be rendered helpless. If everyone's defeated, they failed, go directly to conclusion. The investigation, which is you have to piece together a final puzzle, or there's like a final situation you got to make some skill checks for to actually bypass or solve. You might have a time limit, or you're going to be under duress. There's something going wrong that you need to fix. Which is, if you do it, cool. If you don't, you failed. Proceed directly to conclusion phase. Finally, there might be a drama section. You put everything together. This is you leading to we've found the guy. We're going to move to arrest the guy. Something might happen, something might not. It might just be a nice end. Climax phase is really going to depend on how the story is going and how the scenario kind of progresses naturally. You're going to know kind of how this is going to end. There are a few stories in which the climax is not like this overly dramatic set piece. It's something that is like, we've put everything together. This is the moment. We now just have to capitalize off of it, which kind of has its own, own issues. Which brings us to finally the conclusion phase. There are technically 3 phases, in which there is you narrate the ending, what occurs, what happened, everything's happy, everyone gets a scene if they want, and then we have to check for red haze. With red haze, pretty much you have to reduce whatever your current frenzy is below your blood flow, which can be actually kind of difficult. That's the big thing. It can be kind of difficult if you got really fucked up, reducing your blood flow might be very hard. However, you also have things such as this you call your calming factors, such as, hey, I want to spend my experience. You can reduce your frenzy that way. Hey, I'm pretty much drawing from whoever my handler is, their blood flow directly. Or we have extra KM blood. You're going to be doing that. Other agents' bonds. You're going to be doing that. V blood control, which you're literally going to be making a V blood. Actually, make a V. V blood type check for control, which you get to reduce your frenzy by whatever it is, or you can permanently lose your V blood type blood for a little bit less frenzy to keep your character effectively. If they can't, you succumb and you're gone insane and you lose your character. That's how you can say kind of the counterbalance, I want to say, to that's the counterbalance, hopefully, to I want to just maximize my frenzy every combat encounter and never die, which is if you hit 25 frenzy, actually reducing that back down to a manageable amount will be incredibly difficult. And that's like no more frenzy expenditure at all, and you always are kind of wanting to use your frenzy. That's kind of the idea, like you always want to use frenzy, but you also don't want to use your frenzy. So it kind of comes back and forth, back and forth. Like most JTRPGs, I decided to reward grace to the player, which is things like, did they attend session? Did they fail the scenario? Did they do good? Did they roleplay well? Did they help in the session progress? Did they make the session more enjoyable? Did they succeed in the scenario? And then kind of like how, how much things cost. I wanted to keep with the JTRPG angle, and thus I awarded it to players rather than individual characters, because I think that's most appropriate. So, that's mostly it here. What we need to work on today, though, is the hero manipulation techniques. This is the big one we need to work on today. I have an idea how they're going to work. It's just doing them. And we probably are going to work on equipment as well, which, luckily speaking, we don't really need to worry about too much, but it's mostly we're going to go until it's done or I get tired. That's kind of the goal here. Oh, hey, no, I'm curious. What do you think of those 1 or 2 pager games at litteritch.io and other places? Shit. They're shit. A vast majority of them are really bad and don't do anything. They are really cheap and they clog up for everybody else. Because for every person who's like, here's an actual game I took time and effort into, you're going to get about a dozen of these ones that are usually about a page long. They're usually based on another game. And what they do sometimes creatively, it doesn't really do that much. I've not really encountered a really short one, except my own, that are like really like amazingly good. Because usually it's like, this isn't my kind of game, or it's like, here's something really light. Usually the ones that I like for that really short are either very directed or not really a role-playing game, you could say. there's something else which using a little bit of elements for it. Like, here are rules for a card game, or like here are rules for doing something else, or here's a really focused idea that you're supposed to do in like 30 minutes. If it's something like that, then yeah, I'm down for it. But it's like, those one-page games never really interested me. Because I want to actually sink my teeth into something. I actually want to play a game rather than listen to someone masturbate at me for an entire page. That's not very appealing to me. The other thing I wanted to go over today, and the astute observer maybe also be able to notice it in the corner a little bit there. This is the Darkest Dungeon board game. I've been following this pretty much all day today because we're gonna affectionately call this a gamer moment. So for those who don't know, back in 2020, this Darkest Dungeon, the board game, raised almost $6 million, $5.6 million effectively, in funding for a massive board game. And it was going to have everything in it. Right when the kind of, I would say, the height of Darkest Dungeon's popularity, kind of like when I think the second game just got announced. But as you can kind of see here, big minis, super exclusive stuff. Here's all the super cool. This is the Ancestral Pledge level. Let's see. So in total, if you went to the full on, in the core box, you get 1 rulebook, 72 miniatures, 32 dice, double-sided room tiles, hero boards, skill boards, hamlet boards, main dashboards, 400 cards, 10 dungeon cards, 200 plus tokens. People love minis, by the way. I'm going to say that right now. People love minis, and these are all the kind of minis you could think of. And it's like, okay, and it's like, oh, if you get the Crimson Court pledge, you also get all of these ones and all the stretch goals. Here we got more heirlooms, more tiles, more characters, more stuff. You want all of this kind of stuff. And all of these things optional by, you want the Color of Madness. Here's some more stuff here. Here's the Veld. Here's some more characters. Here's some more minis. Warrens, minis, cards, everything. This was a big fucking Kickstarter, and it was by a company that was actually relatively well respected. This is by Mythic Games. If we go all the way back up here, this was by Mythic Games Incorporated, right here, 2015. They're from France. They do a lot of games. Their big ones were like Time of Legends, Solomon Kane, Reichbusters. Let me see. Where was the one that they all Steam Watchers? They also did the Rainbow Six Siege board game as well. That was kind of odd, as well as Monster Apocalypse, as well as their brand new one, Anasteer. Cool, awesome. A lot of money in here. $5.5 million is not a small amount of money. However, today, a friend of mine in one of the servers I'm in the Merchants Guild actually, posted a thing that he was really pissed off about. And it's this. We apologize for the late delivery of Darkest Dungeon. Wave 1 is ready to ship because initially it was going to be one big box full of everything you ordered. There's a little fly here. However, they split it up into 2 phases. Again, this has been 2 years. They ran late. This was supposed to come out in 2021. However, includes everything else. Current conditions, soaring shipping costs, and subsidies. When we ended the Kickstarter in 2020, the situation was nothing like it is today. So, shipping costs have increased by an average of 600%. The cost of raw materials has increased by 30%. So, the evolution of container prices that Mythic paid on each of its games. These prices include rental of the containers, but also insurance, handling, and transferring them from factory to port of departure. So, as you can kind of see, the cost went up per container. Up until our last project, Anasteer, Mythic Games fully funded additional costs of shipping and manufacturing, what we call subsidizing. So we didn't pass them to our backers. Since 2020, we have subsidized over $1.2 million. Oh no. This is... Today, the shipping costs to get these games are now $3.1 million, which is $1.4 million more than the $1.7 million paid by backers. Yeah, so there's a total of $1.75 million in additional costs that need to be paid for this game. Oh no. Oh no. This is where things start getting a little bit wonky. In agreement with Red Hook, decision to no longer absorb all the additional costs. That's a big idea. Agreement with Red Hook. We're asking for your help in contributing for the additional costs. Of course, we can't ask to do such a thing without contributing a lot ourselves. So Red Hook and Mythic Games will cover 50% of the additional costs, with Red Hook generously contributing $100,000 and Mythic Games contributing $775,000. We ask for your help to cover the balance. We propose a flat amount contribution per item, regardless of country of delivery. Now, here's the thing. Here are the details of additional costs for each item, contribution amount, and each pledge level. After subsidies. So, this is what happens depending on what you paid for. So, for example, if you just bought the base game, you're gonna have to pay $18. If you bought the ancestral version, pretty much the big version, you're gonna be paying $46 to $69. Yeah, so for every additional box you put, you're adding out about $5, $6. You're adding about another $3 for everything you bought, possibly upwards of $50+. And you have to pay your contribution by August 1st. So, this contract guarantees your game will be on our first container that leaves port in mid-August. To avoid soliciting those backers, I have English products ordered in Wave 2 a second time and requesting a second contribution for another smaller amount. For backers to make their contribution for Wave 2 content at the same time as Wave 1. This is the part that people got a little bit wiggity wonky and nobody really liked very much, was right here. If you prefer to wait, in which case your games will be stored in our factory and will be added to containers as payments are made. Yeah. So, here's the also Wave 1 products are already printed and paid for. We can no longer issue automatic refunds. Nevertheless, you contact our customer service. We'll do our best depending on the individual circumstances and our own financial situation. Yeah, we're going to focus on smaller projects, more manageable in current context. So what does this actually mean? Effectively, that they're asking money. They're going to hold your game hostage you already bought and paid for. They're going to hold that hostage until you pay the shipping cost that they didn't tell you about, and you have about 10 days to do such. 10 days to do this. People rightly so, kind of called this big scummy move. Yeah, like, oh, why didn't you tell us earlier? Why did you? Yeah, it's like we didn't tell you. COVID. Yeah, one of the this is one of those ones with Kickstarter that you always have to look at. You're like, oh god, and yeah, it's not a. The thing is, $50 isn't that much for shipping. The problem is, it was told to you 10 days earlier, and now they're kind of scrambling because people really want their money back. Because one of the big things about this as well is that this game was supposed to come out in, let's see, November of 2021. This is already almost a year over. Yeah, a year over date. Now, COVID, yeah, we understand COVID's bad. We got that, but you're a year over at this point. And just when and this one people were like, okay, it's time. You have 10 days and be like, hey, you know this game that you already bought, you've been waiting for a year, an almost complete radio silence, which isn't done, by the way. This is the thing. Only the first wave of the game is done, not the second half of the game. The game that a lot of people actually bought is not actually done, which it's like, people are not really happy about this. Yeah, reason everyone thinks mystique, you're showing you're completely untrustworthy and undeserving of any support for other projects. Covering our pledge was just to put pot to cover the whole shipment. Yeah, payment we can't refund it. We'll take a big hit on. I'm pretty much done with this. To exclude, yeah. A lot of people are asking for refunds over because again, it's been 2 years, and I understand. Like it's been 2 years, not much to show for it, and just when it's like it's time, please give us our money, and they're like, we need money to actually finish the game, to actually ship it to you. Yeah, received plus unboxing. Like this is where people got a little bit like, oh, everything is fine. Hey, production one's wrapped up. 6 days later, we legitimately cannot pay. You need to pay money. If they told people like here, be like, hey, we got like 2 months. What's up going on? We can offer you a bunch of free shit or something like that. Cool. Not that. Not that at all. This is a very classic case of like, oh Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Come on, guys, what are you doing? I did a little bit of digging on these guys. None of their other ones have had like any major issues. Did this one go through? Yeah, like it looks like sometimes they have some small issues, you know, but like most of the stuff they produce is actually pretty decent that people tend to like. One weird thing is the Rainbow Six Siege, Monster Apocalypse, and Anesthesia. These are the 3 newest ones. Siege is on fire currently. Well, Ghoulie Man, what are you talking about? Please, let's go to Deep L. Please tell me more. Let's see. Project delayed to the abandonment news to finish the others because they pledged only a small game. Now expect to sock additional shipping costs. Yep. Costs extra money to ship like Darkest Dungeon. Yeah. This is the part that I'm a little bit interested in. Because this is the Rainbow Six game. This one apparently has not had. This made about $1.5 million as well. However, it's been very radio silent about things. Very radio silent. Not much has actually been talking about it. And it's been very quiet, very under the table. Now with the Darkest Dungeon thing going out, people are a little bit more concerned. People are like, what's going on? And people are now like, wait a second, are we going to actually have to... Yeah, like, seeing as Wave 1 D&D hasn't even made it to the boats because of the new shipping prices, I doubt this project will be shipped anytime, anytime. There was a little bit of a guesstimation that perhaps that money that was needed wasn't strictly, it wasn't strictly just for Darkest Dungeon. Because apparently they had $775,000 to actually play around with, but they didn't cover everything. So where's that money coming from, and do you really need that much amount of money for a game that apparently hasn't finished yet? So people have been a little bit back and forth. Monster Apocalypse is kind of the same way apparently. The people are now like really concerned about it because this was supposed to come out this month. Not this month, and in a few months now. Yeah, hammers us for more shipping. How do we request a cancellation full refund? You know, it's like... Yeah, people are getting obviously very concerned now. Because Mythic broke a lot of trusts. And now, let us see. This is their latest game, Anesthesia. Yeah, something that you pledge here, maybe a little contribution to make something, nothing like happens like Darkest Dungeon, huh? I wouldn't be surprised they did the same thing where this game needs to ship. What is it? Yeah, like... Also, there's one thing I just want to mention about. Like, People like to think like, oh, well, Kickstarter is not a store, and every Kickstarter has risk and challenges. Here's the problem, and I've talked about this before, and I'm probably going to clip this section as well because I feel it's important enough to talk about. Kickstarter has evolved over the years. Kickstarter has become more than what it is. And I really hate it when people say this: Kickstarter is not a store. Because Kickstarter is not a store. However, people treat it as such. And when you treat something like a store, and when you really expect people to kind of do it, because you have companies like Mythic Games, for example, where you actually get these guys, Mythic Games, which these guys are a Kickstarter company. These guys focus almost entirely on the concept of Kickstarter to fund their business. They do not make money, really. Like, all of these games, every single one of them has been a Kickstarter of some variety. This is how they make money. This is actually how they produce what they do. They do not make money by just making a game and selling it. No. They have to go through Kickstarter. It is a business move for them. It is a very clear and very concise movement of the business that you need to do things. They are treating Kickstarter as a business front. That is how you get people to go in, and that's how they get people to buy. That is the goal. That is what they do for it. And they know people are going to invest money into it. They know people are going to want to do this because they like Solomon Kane, because they like, their ideas. They like Rainbow Six Siege. They like Darkest Dungeon. Kickstarter is being used as a storefront. I've talked about this before, but if you are using it as a storefront, at the end of the day, you have to be treated as a storefront. And that's what a lot of these businesses do. Is this correct? No. You should not treat Kickstarter as a fucking business front. Because what's going to happen, and what I really hope people kind of fucking understand at a point, is like, it's not a business front, but I think Kickstarter should also, how do I want to word this? I really wish Kickstarter would put out a policy against serial Kickstarter people who constantly make like, oh, our entire business model relies on Kickstarter and nothing else. It's like, what the fuck? Are you guys high? Are you guys insane? Kickstarter, you got to amend this shit. You got to have something here, because people are being treated as if it's a storefront. This company does not exist if it is not a storefront. Or it's not a storefront. No. Money has changed hands. This is a very clear idea for them. But it's Kickstarter, it's not a store. Doesn't matter at this point. They're treating it as a storefront. Because, have any of you heard of Solomon Kane, the board game? Ever heard of fucking Reichbusters, the board game? Have any of you heard of Steam Watchers? No, I'm going to make a wild fucking guess. You've never heard of some of these games. Because they don't usually do very well outside of Kickstarter. They usually do not do very well. They don't sell much. They are Kickstarter games. And Kickstarter games tend to look like this. You have hundreds of pieces, lots of ideas, lots of things, all cards and minis and shit like that. People fucking love this shit. If you try to sell this in a store, you're going to get laughed out because it's going to be hundreds of dollars. This is already $120, but on Kickstarter it probably was about $100. And this is, mind you, like in a store, it's going to be even more. Like Anastasia, this does not like, yeah, late pledges available, pledge managers open. Like, oh yeah, they want you to do that. This is how they make money. And because this is how they make money, there's got to be something to like do this, because it's Kickstarter. This is getting nuts. Like, this is a company who's pretty much been abusing Kickstarter's policy to make maybe not the best decision. This is just a very hallmark thing on it. Pretty much it's a day one edition stuff. Pretty much it's a machine of day one edition. Yeah, because FOMO's a bitch. Like, FOMO sells, and FOMO has always sold. The fear of missing out is a massive and important thing, and people are insane over it. People are terrified of missing out on the new thing. Because hell, think about it. I mean, don't you want the exclusive Rainbow Six Siege board game? Yeah, cool. It's awesome. I really like Siege. I would want to play the official board game. You know, actually, let's do R6 Siege board game. Let's actually. Now, if you want true Kino, this is how you can play the. You can play the game right now for free, right here. 6 Siege, all operators, open-ended. Let me guess, is this by the company? Because they were talking about it. Yeah, like... Yeah, like, here you go. Here's literally all of the game that you can just play. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit... We live in a society, and society is fucked. And I think it does really boil down to we really want. How do I want to word this? We really want FOMO stuff. We want to be the first one. We want to have the exclusive game. And I'm not gonna lie, I've backed some Kickstarter stuff, you know, and I've enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. Here, actually, give me 1 second. I will actually check real fast. Can I show my Kickstarter stuff without exposing me too badly? Oh Jesus, Alchemistress made its way, that terrible looking fucking disaster area. Yeah, alright, so like here's all of my, like, the things that I've backed over the years. Like, as you can kind of see here. Like, I've backed quite a few things. And most of them, like, I can, like, give you a very good reason for, like, why I backed them. It was like Demon the Descent. Yeah, I was in Demon the Descent. I loved it. I thought it was really cool. It was cool. You know, I still have Melandros. I still need to go over Melandros because it's a cool game. Avignon. Avignon is somewhere. I think it's in, like, my bag or something. I have Control right now. Wildlife, I have the full books. My mom really liked these books. Or like, hey, yeah, I have the full Little Nuns art book. You damn right I do. It was adorable. And I got this canceled, but like, I choose mine based on like, will I actually receive this? And not like, I try not to go into the FOMO stuff, but I understand people who do. Like, of course I fucking know. Come on, everyone likes it. Everyone likes stuff. That's human. We want to do, how do we want to word this? How do I want to word this? That Cursel. Actions and lies. It was a Wildlife was a web comic. Now you can read it right here. It's a web comic. That they did a published version of it. They did a full on like here's a big thing for it. And the entire idea is a guy buys a haunted house on Craigslist. That's literally the entire idea. I thought it was cool. My mom really liked the idea. So I ended up kind of buying it because she, like, my mom really likes comic books for some, like, that always kind of threw me for a loop with her. She really likes comic books and she really liked that kind of stuff. So it was kind of like for her birthday, I ended up kind of getting that for both of us. I read the first half of the book and then stuff happened and I couldn't finish it. She's reading it right now. It's literally just a comic book. Because here's the thing with like comic books and stuff. I understand when a comic book is going to show up because I know it's not a game. It's like it's the book. Like you've written or you've drawn the book. Like cool. Like I know how this is going to go. Like some other thing, nah, fuck that. So how do I want to do this? Okay, no. We're just going to go. So can I do the curse salvation injection and supplies? A handler, a handler's a handler. Now let's do what I actually do here. In the field, agents are rarely resupplied. Supplied. In the field, agents are rarely resupplied due to the innate danger of their various operations. Due to this, the handler's job is twofold. Both handling the how do I want to word this? The rather temperamental vampires of had a cough there. Both handling the rather temperamental coworkers. Vampiric. God, it's really fucking hot in my room right now. Both handling the rather temperamental vampiric coworkers as well as managing their limited supplies. She likes supernatural stuff. She always has. That's been kind of her thing. The big thing is like she was in that kind of scene in Seattle back in the kind of the 80s and 90s. She was in that scene with a lot of the artist types, so she kind of just grew an appreciation of it all. And it's one of those things, like if you do like the full, like, it makes complete sense if you just do the full on like family thing. Like, yeah, okay, it makes it makes sense of why she's the way that she is. Oh God. Okay, now that you excuse me, I'm gonna turn my air on because I'm on fucking. Oh, deliverance. See, this is the beautiful thing about not being European. Is not being a European means I don't have to worry. Is that I actually get fucking air conditioning in my apartment. So, as well as managing their limited supplies. And field agents are resupplied due to the innate danger of their various operations. Due to this, the handler's job is twofold, both handling their rather temperamental vampire co-workers, as well as managing their limited supplies. A handler has a total of... How many did I actually say they have? That's the question. How many did I actually say they have? Handler injection. They have 10, yes. Mixing, matching, 10 inject. Has a total of 10 injections on their person, as well as how do I want to do this? As well as 100 supply points to purchase gear for their investigation. And 10 injections on their person, as well as 10 supply points to purchase gear for their investigation. Each piece, actually 10 injections on their person, as well as 100 supply points to give for their investigation. While the handler will always, actually, no. The handler is designated as the primary holder of all of the monetary accounts. Monetary account. Let's see. It's designated as the primary holder of all the monetary accounts that the agents must work through. Meaning that if they were to tragically pass, so does the lifeline to their benefactor. At the start of each investigation, actually in the start of every scenario, the handler may purchase any supplies they wish, and but may refill supplies during the drama phase. If I speak during the drama phase, refill supplies during the drama phase. During a drama phase. Because I want to give handlers a little bit more to work with. Because if we go here, we do stocking up. Yeah, okay. During the drama phase with a stocking up scene. Because this is a very dedicated scene. That's kind of the idea, you know. So actually, supplies in. Actually, gear in the field will cost more than requisitioning it right away. Let's see, gear in the field will cost more than requisitioning it right away. So think ahead. Right, then requisitioning it right away at the start of the scenario. Thinking ahead is. We just do that. We establish what's going on, and then we go all the way down. This is I'm going to be very frank with you. This game looks like ass how it's set up, but it's kind of weird how it has to be set up. And so I've been kind of going back and forth on that a little bit of how actually to set things up properly, how to make things right. It's been a little bit wiggly wonky. There we go. Let's see. So how do we want to handle it? How do we want to handle? So, base things first. We need to talk about injections. That's going to be the important part. And like, here are what the injections are. You're going to get by default. You're always going to get 10 injections. Because the big thing with injections is that it is 2 blood flow, and it temporarily increases a stat. Which temporarily increases is it's going to last until the end of the scenario, or until it's lost. But I'm just going to call gear, which is going to be literally everything that isn't an injection. And then we're going to let's see, injections, gear. We can probably do contacts, and then we can probably do assets. I think these are going to be the big four. So let's talk about injections. Yeah, injections. During the research in the 1990s. During the research in the 1990s, it was shown that injecting a vampire with blood directly into the bloodstream was the most efficient way of delivering blood. However, the V blood of the vampire did not think that vampires would react poorly to self-administration. Vampires react poorly to self-administration, instead having to rely to self-administration or being administered by others. With the black blood disease, the V blood was somewhat calmed as the injections took place. As the injections took place, as a handler, you have the agent. As a handler, the agent has been trained in the administration and proper usage and administration of blood injections. These actually, how do we want to do? We want to do needle sizes. Yes, we're going to talk about needles. It's great. 8 millimeter, 1.6 millimeter. We're going to do with probably about a 1.1 millimeter. Tell me more about needles. Not needle parts. We want to do actual, like, hypodermic needles. Actually, 1 point. Let's do 1.1 mil. 25, 40 millimeter. 40 millimeter. 40 millimeter needle. 22. Let's do. We want to do. Needs to be bigger than you think. So we need to do. Because it's a big fucking needle. 1 1/2 needle. So, let me see. 25 gauge. What's a 25 gauge? 25 gauge. 25 gauge needle. .25 gauge, half-inch long needle. Intramuscular injections. I guess it would be 20. A 29 gauge needle. Welcome to needle injections, where I need to check how big the fucking needle is going to be. Medical syringes. Blood injection. So there would be like blood injection needle. For like, I want to inject blood into somebody. How? This is a big, thick ass needle. It needs to be like, because the entire idea of this is you are being administered effectively into your neck by somebody to increase your blood flow and actually keep you alive. That's kind of the idea. This is, I'm going to stab you in the neck with this needle, pump blood directly into your body that it likes, and not going to process it at all, but it's going to be like, okay, you're back up and running. It's far more efficient. How do I want to word this? Because this is one of those things, like, you need to, like, yeah, we need to talk slightly about. So I guess it would be like 29 gauge. Actually, can we do even a 31 gauge insulin syringe? What does an insulin syringe look like? Big needle syringe. .22 gauge hypodermic needle. We won't, not necessarily hypodermic, but like 20 millimeter syringe. Straight to the fucking, straight up, not 30 mil. How do we want to word this? Turns out there's a lot of different kinds of fucking needles in the world. Like, let's just actually syringe gauge sizes. There we go. Syringe gauge sizes. Needle gauge chart. Oh boy. 34 gauge needle. Millimeter. 10 gauge. What is a fucking 10 gauge needle? I guess the smaller it is, the better. Lot will be like an 11 gauge needle. Uh, 14. Maybe we do like a 14 gauge needle. Medical. 15 gauge. 15. How does 16 gauge need? Still pretty fucking big for what we're working with. Yep, I guess we're gonna go with that. Okay. As a handler, agent has been trained in the use of blood injection using a syringe with a 16 gauge needle. Actually, 16 dash gauge needle with using a syringe with a 16 gauge needle. With using syringe with 16 gauge needle. The handler will administer 50 milliliters of pure blood into the vampiric bloodstream, into the vampire's body, being directly administered, being directly applied. The V blood is energized. The V blood is energized as it converts the newly entered blood into far more converting the newly entered blood efficiently into new V blood cells. Whoa! We need to go here to the injections. Let's see, the black blood disease. Okay, so I remember, because I will inevitably forget. So after being used, the injection cannot be used. After being used, the vampire increases their blood flow by 2, and temporarily, and I don't even know if I want to call it temporarily, because I don't feel like that's the right term for it, because it's more like scenario based, but I'm going to use the term anyway because that's the best way I can think of. And temporarily increases the blood type by temporarily increases the used blood type by 1 for the remainder of the scenario. Again, it's not permanently increased, it's just for the remainder of the scenario. And let's say, for example, I have 4 in my A. The handler comes up to me and they inject me with an A blood injection. For the rest of the scenario, I'm going to be rolling with 5 A blood. However, some things might change and I might lose that, or I might even have less than what my total is. Just temporarily for the scenario. There's probably a term that I can come up with, but that's it roughly. These blood type for the remainder of the scenario. So, possible injections we need to do. Actually, if a non-trained individual not trained in the application of an individual not trained in the application of the injection, or is not of black blood, the vampire will only receive one blood flow, as well as increase increase the blood type by 1. Will only receive 1 blood flow, increase the blood type by 1, and gain 1 frenzy. You do not it is incredibly inefficient for you to do this. That's why you always want to keep your handler alive, because they can actually save you from using fucking injections. So our basic one is what we want to do is name of the injection, I guess the effect. I guess if we do something like this, which would be name of injection. Actually, no, what am I doing? Actually, no, what we do is injection type. Actually, if we just do something like we delete the 2 columns, we only need to do type A. we'll do type A, type B, type O, type AB. Actually, then we do type V. What we can do, actually, we do this, and then we add a column to the right, and then which is going to be a cost. Actually, no, what we're going to do is this is going to be supply cost, supply cost, which we can do how do I want to do this? How do I even want to represent this? This would be scenario start. Chemo fluke. There's a term for it. Again, this is one of those things with this game, which I'm going to go over after this game is over, of like what the main issue was for this game for me anyway. Which is actually we'll do the supply cost, which is going to be, unless I just decide to just give myself a little bit more space, something like this, which is going to be start and then start slash middle, kind of like the idea of like which is like at the start and then at in the middle of the investigation, in which we're going to do a starting injection question mark. So supply cost, it's going to cost you 10. Actually, no, we can increase this up to 15. Yes. No. So it's kind of along the idea, like, injections are actually kind of expensive for what you're getting. However, it's kind of like the idea of like, this is a life-saving thing. And it's very useful to actually have. Like, getting an injection of like raw V blood is actually very, very difficult to do, and you aren't really supposed to do it. Like, it is very inconvenient for you to actually get that. I want it to feel very inconvenient. It's just being like, this could actually be very helpful right now, but we cannot get it because getting raw V blood is not easy. So, injections, we understand how injections work. Actually, we can do something like that, make it a little bit tighter, and that should work pretty well. Cuckoo choo choo, swagalicious, swouse, as they say in the hood. Which is going to bring me to gear trigger, guilty gear strive. So, gear, which is in the field, the agents are expected to have a standard kit of supplies, often in the form of a handful of, two to three changes of clothes, a handful of snakes, handful of snacks, as well as most modern amenities afforded to them. Agents in their hometown may also own an apartment or other place of residence. Kind of along the idea of being like, you're always going to have the basic shit. Like, you never need to worry about that. Gear is the acquisition. Gear is gear is the catch-all term. The term for things that make the agent's life easier in the field. Most things. So pretty much you're always going to have like a cell phone and things like that. That's fine. Gear is the catch-all term for things that make the agent's life easier in the field. What they can bring along with them to assist in the investigation, as well as determine what various useful notes are required of them. What would be some very useful things that some people would have on them? Just things. Because my idea is that most everything is going to look like, which is going to be type of gear, supply cost, start and middle, and then like effect, and then like a description. This is what a vast majority of like what I kind of want here. They're not really supposed to be like terribly complex. It's like, yeah, what is this thing that you're looking at? Well, it's a thing. It's not a thing. It's a thing that does a thing. It's a gun, or like. So let me think. What do we even reference in this case? What do you reference? I wonder, does World of Darkness SRD give me? I require something. World of Darkness. I require your item list. Do you actually have an item list? This is very important. Probably don't. So I'm going to try to find one. Because when in doubt, try to find someone that already has done this shit before. Because guess what? It's kind of annoying. Would you believe I wonder, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Antagonist, Armory, Chicago, Midnight Rounds, Mirror Shadows of the UK. This Dark Eras? No, this is Dark Eras. I don't need that. New York by Night, New York, Concrete Jungle, actually, this is the cursed one, is that we can look at Changeling the Lost. Yay, Changeling the Lost, the game that I actually quite enjoy. I like Changeling the Lost. I think it's a very good World of Darkness game. I think the unfortunate part with Changeling the Lost is that it's a little bit weird, but it is, I enjoy it. I think it is kind of neat. Entitlement, storytelling, special character creation. Nope. What do I want to look here? Character creation, storytelling. Guess we go to storytelling. Character creation. Just give me an item list. That's all I want. Tell me more about your stuff. Give me an item list. Please, that's all I'm asking for. Tell me an item list. Tell me more about item lists. Tell me more. Oh, God. You know what? When in doubt, why don't you just look up where the gun is? Dun 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 dun. Might be pretentious, put it in fire. Fairy, frailty, freehold, fuck me, equipment maybe? Emotions and scroll entitlements, exchange, experience point. Fuck, they don't have it in here, do they? Do I have Demon the Descent? Demon would have it, right? Demon would totally have it, right? Demon not having it would be bonkers, right? I'm not going insane. Where would you even fucking find it? How an angel dies. We do here. Me want gun. Me want firearm. Firearm. Baha. Weapon. Because sometimes they put things like, where it's like, why is this here? Demon the Descent has its own fucking issues. They never tell you where the fucking equipment is because World of Darkness is World of the fucking Darkness. And nothing can be easy because fuck you. Would it be in fucking armory? Armories. No, this is not right. This is going to be a shit ton of guns. Yeah, this is just weapons. Actually, 161. I mean, let's see what they have for equipment and other accessories. Yep, nope, that's exactly what I thought it was going to be. Welcome to the gun autist expansion for World of Darkness. I forgot about you. So, what am I looking for? What am I looking for? What am I looking for? Check the core book. Fun fact, I apparently do not have the core book for this for World of Darkness. I don't know where, I just didn't have it. Like, I thought I did. I could have swore I did. When are we gonna get when are we going to get a World of Darkness? A new World of Darkness Curious Case. When are we going to get it? When you guys vote on it. Literally, that's how it boils down to. When you guys vote on it, you guys never fucking do. Or it just, if I like decide not put it on the case because there just isn't there or something else is there. When in doubt, let's check the game. I'm kind of not ripping off. It's not ripping off. It's completely different. Item data 227, 228. What page are we actually on? We are on a completely different fucking items procurement check. Tell me more about stuff. We don't need any of that. We don't need any weapons. Weapons are luckily going to be kind of a non-factor. Armor is also that way because nobody wears fucking armor. Okay, so let's do let's do a we're going to break this down a little bit. We're going to do a large car. We're going to do a small car. We're going to do a luxury car. Kind of like the idea of like, what are we kind of driving in on? Vehicle, anytime of MTB, connection chart, miscellaneous. So, okay, so we need casual wear, uniforms. Do I just say fuck it and just make it all narrative bullshit? Half of me wants to make it just completely narrative bullshit just because I hate writing equipment lists. Fun fact, despise it. This is the least entertaining stuff I can always do. Do I already have equipment lists somewhere? Tell me I already have like an equipment list somewhere. Am I gonna be lucky? Again, like, if there was anything in any game that I absolutely despise, it is writing equipment lists. Despise it. Hate it. Worst fucking thing ever. And I do not understand how Melon could just be a complete fucking autist and sit down there for like hours on end writing like all of these fucking things for guns. I'm like, I cannot be bothered. I fucking hate it. It is the most boring shit imaginable. Usually, like, when I do write a lot of equipment, it's like something that like very much is pertinent to me, or like this is very important to this. This one I'm like, oh god, I don't really care. Like, I do not give a shit about this in the slightest. But I should. Let's see, it's like, actually we can do well, let's just go through. What does it mean by search radar? Let me actually, this would be knowledge book. This would also be then brought up with knowledge book, because it's going to give you a +1 flat bonus to certain things. We can also do how do we want to do it? Knowledge book is going to do follow into muscle enhancing drug, anti-renegade drug. Oh my god. See, I have guns. Do not worry about guns. Guns are easy. Guns are fine. However, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this real simple. We're going to make this real simple, in fact. We're going to be... luxury vehicle. We're going to do civilian. We'll do civilian clothes. We're going to do luxury clothes. We're going to go into, so we have large vehicle, small vehicle, luxury vehicle. We have civilian clothes. We have luxury clothes because you're already kind of in your business clothes. We're going to also have a small, actually, knowledge item. This is going to be a really very simple one. We're going to do a so kind of the idea here is a large vehicle, which is going to be a six occupant vehicle. A vehicle, very obvious. 4 occupant. This is going to be a 4 occupant vehicle. Not obvious. Inconspicuous, but I always spell inconspicuous wrong. Luxury vehicle, 4 occupant. It's gonna be a 4 occupant vehicle. Obvious if stylish. Civilian clothes, standard clothing for the area. Standard clothing for the area. Luxury clothes, luxurious clothing for the area. Luxurious. Knowledge item, +2 to any skill check, related to the to the item in question, which is going to be what we're going to add in a we're going to say player choice, and this is going to be a yes. Luxury, which is no, kind of like the idea of like you don't really get to define much about this. This is just what it is. This is like what you find it at. Like this is exactly what you think it's going to be. You don't really get a choice in the matter of like what it looks like, but it's like this is just stuff you can have. Like, well, a knowledge item can to a single type of skill check related to the item in question. Which is then going to be over to would be, let's see, what do we need to cover? I am investigating something. We've knelt down, we're looking at something, we're trying to find something out about something else. I want to find more information, I want to find more tools. This is my knowledge item. This is something that I've acquired over time, which is going to teach me to do something, which is my advantage on doing something. Any skill check of my choice, I get an advantage on. Actually, I know exactly what I can do. We can do KM blood. No. Increase blood flow by 2. Reduce frenzy by 1. Temporarily reduce all blood types by 1. Yep, the KM blood is very useful because you can. That's like one of the few healing resources you have. But yes, that's a way for you to heal. What am I looking at here? Knowledge book, luxury vehicle. I wonder. That other one, Gumshoe, SRD. Tell me more about Gumshoe. Hello, Gumshoe. How do you do? Impersonator match, medkit, tether, translator. Time watch, starting gear, and build require additional gear, preparedness. Wow. Thanks, Gumshoe, SRD. Very, very poggers. Very cool. It's like, yep, here's gear, I guess. Fuck off. Fuck you. Is this the official SRD? This is the official SRD. Cool. Tell me more about gear. Wow, it's fucking nothing again. Wowzers. I fucking hate you. I hate you, Gumshoe, you fuck. Let's just say fuck it. I just say fuck it and we just kind of work with it. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna do a small useful item. Large useful item. This is literally because I have no idea what else to put here. Small useful item, large useful item, and we're going to also add in. No, that's fine. KM blood's the big one. Small useful item, yes. The agent, +2 to a skill, +2 to a skill check, to a single category of skill checks, consumed on use. +2 to, actually we want to do +4 to a single category of skill checks, consumed on use. Kind of like these are like very item based, like this is just an item. So supply cost at the middle, large vehicle is going to be 60, and if you want to acquire it later on, it's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be pretty cheap to get one of these. Is just you requisitioning a vehicle. Luxury vehicle is going to be 80 and 100. Yes, you're going to get all of your money to get a luxury vehicle. Because this is literally you getting a fucking car. Actually, we reduce that down to about this. Civilian clothes is going to cost you 0 at the start, but it's going to cost you 5 supplies later on. Luxury clothes is going to cost you 2 at the start, but it's going to cost you a little bit more later on. Because this is just you like, I need a full fancy fucking suit immediately. Like, okay, we can do that for you. Knowledge item, which is going to be, which is +2 to a single type of skill check related to the item in question. Which is going to be, we're going to give them at 10, and it's going to be 25 later on. KM blood, on the other hand, is going to be 5, and it's going to be 10. You're going to get, actually, it's going to be 5, and we'll say 5 as well. It's going to be it's very easy to get KM blood, but KM blood does come with a very nasty little drawback, which is just, hey, yeah, all of your fucking stats are reduced by 1. Small useful item, we're going to call that at 15. We're going to call that at, actually, no, we're going to call that at 5, 10. And we're going to call you at 10, 20. And if we're going to put a side note here, side note, this item list sucks. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Do you realize how little equipment really matters in an investigation game focused around vampires going sicko mode on one another? Is not much. That does remind me, I need to add small actually what I should do is firearm small, which is going to be 30, which is going to be 30 50. Agent choice, no. However, I'm going to put in a footnote here. We're going to put in a footnote here being like this changes drastically by the country and organization. This assumes the USA. This assumes the USA or EU in a, or actually this assumes the USA or Europe belonging to a federally recognized agency. Pretty much the idea being like, this is in the case that you actually are a real human being to it, and you're allowed to actually carry a firearm. The agent has a firearm. Which can deal 8 damage, which means I'm gonna have to put a little note in the fucking combat section. We're going to do firearm lard, which is going to be 40-80. No, which is going to be the agent. The agent has a firearm, which can deal 12 damage. Otherwise known as, you can fucking murk somebody almost immediately. That's kind of the idea with a firearm, being like, you're going to be able to kill people pretty damn quickly with these. Because guess what, kids? It's a fucking gun. I have to do this, because if you don't do this, it's going to get mad at you. Clothes luxury. Cam bloods, large useful. Yeah, there we go. President saved. Let's see. Crisis averted. President saved. Actually, let's see. Do I actually... Yeah, this is gonna be let's actually see. Yeah, yep. You mean guns? Yeah, welcome to 007. Like, the thing is, like, everyone had a gadget. That was, like, their one thing that they had. Is like, yeah, here they are. Let me see. Actually, let me see. Every agent has their gadget, unique item, and allow them to pull off their daring mission system in defeating villainous forces across the world. Each gadget has a certain amount of uses depending on what they are. How valuable a gadget is actually in the field, allowing the agent to use tools and greatest effect. Each gadget rank can also double as a die value to add to roles the agent performing and detracts from roles others are performing. Sledgehammer DA, Sledgehammer reinforced hunk of metal dedicated to smashing through a wall. 15 minutes of usage. ROM V, Orwell glasses. Auto translator. Decent. I want to make allow players to make with that. Actual rank of gadget should correlate to its overall value. Rank 1 gadget is a time saver, while rank 5 gadget is a lifesaver. So a sledgehammer, for example, go to mid-ground. I don't really do and rely on the gadget to do for them. However, auto translate can quickly nullify by having a skill, but this is useful in situations. This is a unique piece of equipment. Yes. Welcome to Crisis Averted, President Saved. However, this does give me an idea. However, what I do want to do is... Hello, phone. This is just like basic time. I'm still going to keep this in place, being like, here's all the gear you have. Gadgets. We go to Crisis Averted. Yep, super chic. Agent, unique item, pull up them during mission. So here's the secret. Here's what we're going to do, because we're very smart and we reuse shit. Because reusing things is the right thing to do. Each agent has a gadget, unique items that allow them to pull off their investigation. Without a hitch. Normally gadgets are tools that augment an agent's abilities. However, sometimes a gadget can be the difference between life and death. So we want to do each gadget has a rank dictating how long it can be used, as well as how impactful the gadget will be. How impactful the gadget will be. Gadgets are not super tech, but instead items that can enable the agent to perform feats or assist them when they may not be able to. The rank also, if needed, the rank doubles as the flat bonus to rolls using the gadget as well. Agent's abilities can be used because we're very silly. We're gonna make this very simple. There we go. Sledgehammer. Bum, bum, bum. Rank 3. Rank 3. Sledgehammer reinforcement goes easy entry. Otherwise sealed locations. It doubles as a valuable bashing tool. Beanbag rounds. Everyone's. What would be some other very Agnet. Agnet is a repository of information. Is a repository of information for the agent to quickly consult on various matters. Agnet access on various matters of the investigation. Agnet has a limited number of accesses to prevent contamination, which is going to be 15 uses. Actually, we're going to lower this down to 2, which we're going to say is going to be 10 uses, which you can use it there and get a +2 to pretty much all your rolls. What would be another good one? Recycle, it's good for the environment. Yes. Yes, it is. So we want to do... what would be actually a good one? Actually, no. Red Sound Maker, which we're going to call that at rank 3. Red Sound is an unpleasant tone to vampires, making them agitated, or simply very annoyed, but cannot be heard by regular people. Which is going to have 15 seconds of use. It's just like, here's a thing that you can press and immediately make everybody annoyed in the fucking room. Which actually we are going to do 2020, but actually what do we got? I guess we can add a ROM then. I guess ROM wouldn't be a terrible thing. Remote operated moving vision. Yeah, here's ROM. Now, if I wanted to be really cheeky about it, I could just put a gun and just put firearms here. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do that. It's going to be a rank 4 gadget. Actually, it's going to be 45 M1911 rank 4, which we're going to say it's going to be actually M1911s have M1911. Oh, it's 7 rounds. So yeah, rank 4. So rank 4, the M1911 has won 2 wars. And continues to be a popular addition to many militaries in the world. Bringing one can quickly change the nature of a fight. It's going to have 8 uses plus I believe it'd be a magazine. No, it'd be a cartridge. See, cartridge versus magazine. Yeah, it would be a cartridge. Right? I'm not going insane, right? Yeah, it'd be a cartridge. I'm not very good when it comes. Like I would say I'm better than the average bear when it comes to guns, but I'm not good with the guns. By the way, I'm not really like super well informed about them. I'm not like some people I know who are like, I can rattle off literally every single thing about firearms ever. I'm like, not me. I can wing it. I can wing it till I make it. That's pretty much that's what you got from me. Let me see. We can do that. Which we're going to KM blood. Yeah, we really want KM blood. That's the big thing. That here. That also means we can drop the firearms here. We don't need the firearms. Which we're going to do, which is going to be rank. Our rank is going to be it's going to be gadget. It's going to be gadget. Supply cost. We don't really need the agent choice or that. How do I want to do this? Actually, if we do gadget rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we do the gadget rank, supply middle cost, and would you add one to the middle, which would be supply, resupply gadget, which would be, yeah, we'll just do the resupply gadget cost, which is just get all your charges back on it effectively. Which is very different. So rank 1 stuff can be used for about 5 seconds or 5 seconds, a minute, roughly. Not they're more like, hey, this is a small bonus for something. What we're gonna say is we can probably do something like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, but we can also do maybe like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, like you have like a single gadget, or we do 10, 15, actually we can do 10, 15, 20, 40, 60. Kind of like, here's this like amplification in value, pretty hard. For the middle, we can do 15, we increase it by 5 like before, but then we double it here, and then we do something like that. Gadget resupply is going to be 5, 10, 15, 25, 40. Like, it's really, if you want to get a rank 5 thing, you're not refilling it. That's the idea. Even rank 4, like if you want to buy a full new clip of an M1911, it's going to cost you a little bit. Which I'm going to actually put right here. Eight uses, actually I should say 8 uses per cartridge. 8 uses per cartridge. 2 cartridges. Actually I should say 3. We'll say 3 cartridges. Yeah. Why are you talking about the Austin Tactics guy now? See, I know Melon. I know him. That's the thing. He's been wanting me to go over Ops and Tactics for a while now, but nobody votes on that particular one, so I just kind of haven't. I would like to go over Ops and Tactics, actually, because I've got an opinion on Ops and Tactics, and it's not a positive one. And it's not a positive one, not in the idea of, like, game bad, let me tell you why, but more along the lines of, like, this is a very particular kind of game that you're either going to really like or you're really going to fucking hate. Which we can do connections. Was there any connections that I was really actually? Yeah, no, we'll do connections real fast. That's not going to be too difficult to do. Connections. A connection is an individual that the agents have purchased a degree of loyalty or use of in the field. A connection will always protect themselves. Always protect themselves, but are willing to assist the agents in the scenario. This is the I'm the guy who like, oh, we're bringing aboard somebody whose job it is to like help us out in this. We're like, your job is to help us here, or your job is to help us. Which we want to do we'll do type of connection, apply cost. We want to merge these. We want to merge these. We want to do a police contact, which is going to be 10, and it's going to be 10 and about 50, it's going to be 10 about 20. A local law enforcement who is more than willing to help with the investigation. Doctor 1020, a medical professional who is able to assist with the assist with the investigation, as well as provide healthcare. Actually, we want to do underground, which is going to be a little bit more expensive, which is the idea of an individual of quote unsavory character who is willing to lend assistance to the investigation may not be the most trustworthy. Let's see. Actually, what would be? It would be public servant 1525. A member of the government, or let's say a member of the government or other important individual. They are willing to assist. They are willing to assist by pushing papers or making things go smoothly. Which we need some cheap ass ones. We actually gossip 510. A local gossip who is more than willing to talk to the agents for their own scoop of the story. Actually, benefactor agency, which we're going to call 10. A member of the agent's benefactor's organization is willing to assist in the investigation the best they can. What would be another good one? Okay, we got a police officer, a doctor, someone who is underground, a public servant, just a talky person, a benefactor, which is kind of along the idea of being like, let's say you're part of the Vampire Friends of Japan, being that it was like you find another person who is a member of the Vampire Friends who is willing to help you. They're kind of in the same caliber as you, but they're like, hey, I'm willing to actually help. We'll put a vampire socialite in here. A member of the vampire community. Let's see, a member of the vampire community willing to talk and assist with anyone related to the vampire community. Weirdo. There we go. We'll add a weirdo in. I say a strange person is desperate to assist in the. Let's say a strange person is desperate to assist in the investigation. Providing insight into matters that make little sense. Hey, look at this local schizo here, and who's willing to tell us about things. Oh. Procurement specialist, we'll do 1525. Person of interesting means, willing to assist the agents to procure goods or services not seen elsewhere. Hey, I'm willing to spend money to do something. Please help. Like, oh, you are. Well, it's kind of the idea of like, I'm a procurement specialist. My job is to make sure that you get what you need, or something like that. It's kind of that idea, like a little bit shady, a little bit like, something. This guy's a little bit weird. And he's like, yeah, he is, because he's a weird criminal guy. But it's like, hey, I need to acquire some goods. I need to fix myself up to get some stuff, to get some things. Actually, okay, there we go. Yeah, then we just have local schizo willing to help. Procurement, okay. Connections, and then our final one here is going to be assets. Assets are not directly purchased. Instead, when the agents begin the scenario, any unused supply points will immediately be converted into assets. These represent a combined these represent an amount of monetary supplies and goods to assist in the investigation. Most instances of buying small things do not need to be accounted for. Which brings me up here. Relaxant need to be accounted for. An agent does not need to spend assets to buy lunch, for example, or buy blood-laced coffee. However, assets may be used to not only resupply gear or gadgets, but also be exchanged for goods and services. I made a fucking Simpsons reference. Exchange for goods and services in the field. If the agents are prompted to bribe a guard, then 2 to 3 assets may cover it. buying a new the acquisition of a requisitioning a science lab for investigative purposes. May cost 30 to 40 assets. There we go. Yeah. Generally speaking, like, the idea behind assets are that you can convert your supply into raw money and be like, why don't just call it assets to begin with? Because it's like, it's more along the idea of being like, supplies can be a lot of things. Assets are never, it's never as valuable to use an asset than to simply just use it somewhere. Like, how do I want to word it? It's never more valuable for you to use your assets over buying it directly through supplies. It's never the more valuable. It's never the right option. That's what I kind of want to get across. Oh, God. Now. Let's see. What am I missing here? We've got that. We pretty much just have the vampire powers to do. You know what? I think I'm going to do that on Friday. Yep, I'm going to delay till Friday again. Ha ha ha. The big idea, what I'm going to do now is I just got to double check some. I want to make sure everything works correctly. And I want to put all of this probably up here is what I'm thinking. Kind of just move things around a little bit just to make things a little bit easier to flow. Once that's done, Friday we're going to be finished up. I don't even think Friday is going to be a full stream. It's probably going to be a much shorter stream, so I might have something else to do in there. Just because this won't take very long, to be perfectly honest with you. This is going to be a very short set of ideas here. And hell, the thing is, like, if I'm free tomorrow, if like the Good Society video I have planned goes smoothly, I don't think it's going to be a very long video. I might actually stream tomorrow to finish this. I don't know yet. So, yeah, the equipment took a little bit longer than I planned on. I wasn't actually planning on talking about the Darkest Dungeon thing, but I want to talk about that a little bit because it's kind of a fucking mess. So, thank you all for watching. My name is Notepad, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Godspeed, good luck, and I will catch you all on Friday, most likely. However, tomorrow, again, there might be a stream to wrap everything up, simply because it's, well, we don't have that much to do anymore, but it's incredibly late. So, good night. Have a nice rest of your day. I will see you all, hope maybe on Friday or possibly tomorrow. Goodbye.